Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 31 Media podcast. My name is Vaishnavi Nashte. I'm the marketing and PR manager here at 31 Media. Today's interview is in collaboration with the Digital Transformation Awards that will be held in London. The entries are currently open for these awards and they have a deadline of 14th of May. So make sure that you enter into the awards before the deadline. There are like a wide range of categories available, right from financial services to retail and public sector as well. The link will be in the description below. Today on the podcast, we have Hans Tesselaar, who is the Executive Director of Banking Industry Architecture Network, also called as BIAN. With extensive experience in the financial and technological sectors, Hans is a recognized leader in banking transformation and digital innovation. It is under his leadership that BIAN has driven the development of standardized solutions to enhance interoperability, efficiency, and customer experience across the banking industry. So, without any further ado, welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the podcast, Hans. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Pleasure meeting you, and I hope it will be of interest of the listeners.
Yes, I'm definitely sure about that. I'm quite excited for them to even read your article on our website. So the link for that will also be in the description. So
Great.
before we actually dig into the questions, could you tell our audience a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah, so Hans Tesselaar, I'm based in the Netherlands. I am the Executive Director of the Banking Industry Architecture Network since 2011. And before I joined, I had a long history in financial services as a
Mhm.
consultant, as a director of IT strategy and innovation for a Dutch bank, and so on and so forth. So it goes back to
Wow.
the punch card age. So that also says something about my age. So yes, and we at BIAN, we are not for profit. I think that's also important. So we want to help the industry to move forward to new technology, solve the integration issues, and so on and so forth. But I think we'll move in that a little bit later.
Absolutely. I mean, your resume is impressive. I mean, there's so much you've known about the industry. And in your experience, what trends are you seeing when it comes to the adoption of any sort of new technology?
Yeah, well, I think new technology is also sort of container. So
Mm-hmm.
and of course, everybody would say AI. So that's
Of course.
the answer. That's always correct. So that should not be a surprise. But I think that when you look at what is going on in the financial service industry, is that they have to carry the burden of long time um, information technology. So they're one of the early starters. So that implies that
Mm-hmm.
there is still a lot of, let's call it with an ugly word, legacy environment. So I think if we can help the industry to migrate away from the current, let's say, monolithical systems to a
Right.
more of best of breed environment in a hybrid cloud environment. And now I refer to hybrid cloud as a technology. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that combination, together with open APIs and AI, that combination, I think that will change the industry in the upcoming years.
Amazing. And when it comes to adopting new technologies, like, do you think there are any issues that are impacting the industry the most when it comes to the development of new technology?
Well, banks are by nature risk averse, so
Mm-hmm.
no risk. And if you have the information of hundreds of thousands or millions of clients in your systems, then the path to renewal, the path to modernization is tricky and scary. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't think there is that they holding back on new technology, but the way to use it in a gradual way, step by step, I think that's the challenge because you have to also keep the bank running. You cannot shut down the bank for half a year and then open it with new technology. So
Yeah.
carving out the information that should not be in, replace it with new state-of-the-art technology. So I think, and then of course there is a huge pressure from regulators. So I think the whole combi makes it difficult, but not undoable to move into that new direction. So I think that's the pain point for the industry.
Right. And you've been in the industry for like quite a long time. And from your perspective, like what are the technologies that are driving the most change across the financial services sector specifically?
Yeah, I think the whole idea of open banking
Right.
and what you need to have for open banking. So open banking also needs that you have all the APIs in place, that you
Mm-hmm.
should have your connectors with third parties, and that you would like to offer new products and services to your customers, maybe through third parties. So the whole creating of an ecosystem, a technology ecosystem, I think that is something. So that is key. What we also see is that when I started at BIAN, there was a huge reluctance to share information.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody would explain to one bank to another bank what they are doing. It was sort of top secret. And then it took a while to people to realize that we are not sharing competitive materials. We are not discussing pricing or market segmentation. No, we are discussing the plumbing, the wiring.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can agree on the wiring, and if everybody can learn from each other's wiring and
Mm-hmm.
the mistakes they make, that is the strength to put things forward. So that's the strength from organizations like ours, where there is an
Mm-hmm.
open and secure environment to share those experiences and learn from each other. And that will help
Yeah.
the adoption of the new technology. Because if someone did it in Asia, and they are more advanced than we are here in the West from a technology perspective,
Mm-hmm.
and you can learn from them and say, okay, that's how they did it. Let's see if we can
Yeah.
copy paste it and tailor it to our needs, and then we can make a sort of jump start. So I think the adoption of technology will be driven by successful examples elsewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the shared knowledge part is like so important when it comes to like taking the industry and the financial services sector itself ahead. So yeah, absolutely agree with that. Thank you for mentioning that. My last question to you is, what advice would you give a banking organization that's looking to overcome its legacy infrastructure?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's not a real fair question.
Hmm.
Because I'm biased for the answer. So it's not an objective
Yeah.
answer. So
Hmm.
what we did, and we started 5 years ago with a project that we call the Coreless Bank. And
Hmm.
the whole idea of the Coreless Bank was, can you run a bank without a core system? And the answer is not yet. So that's the
Hmm.
good news and the bad news. But what we did, we created, we built 4 iterations of the buy-in bank on
Yeah.
a best of breed environment. So and there's also a research paper from Gartner describing how we did it, and
Hmm.
they earmarked that as one of the 4 strategies to digitize your bank, or shrinking the core, or moving away from your legacy. There are so many names for the same topic. So that is a way to look at it. So you have to identify in your current IT environment what are the functions that should not be in your existing legacy. So
Yeah.
there should not be KYC in, and there should not be payments in, and there should not be CRM in. And then carve them out, put them apart, and create that best of breed environment. So I think the legacy and the core will shrink, but will never disappear. That's
Hmm.
my so not in the upcoming 10 years. So if you have a robust shrunken core that performs as it should be, why should you? So I think
Right.
that is the way forward. So I think take a look at what we call Cordis. It's now almost a brand name. So if people Google on Cordis banking, they will find the approaches. And I think that is a very structured way, a very controlled way, how a financial institution can migrate over the years away from its legacy. It will not be in a year, it will not be 2, it will be 5, 6, 7 years, but eventually you can migrate away.
Right. Perfect. Thank you so much, Hans. I mean, that answer couldn't have been more perfect and straight to the point. So thank you so much for being on the podcast. Those were my questions for today.
Okay.
And I'm super excited for the audience to even read your article on our websites, which is on Software Testing News and on DevOps Online. The links would be in the description. So yes, make sure to give that a read. And thank you again, Hans, for being on the podcast today.
It was my pleasure. I hope to meet you in another podcast.
Oh, definitely, we will.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you so much.